let's talk about evil E. coli. Okay, not really, but kind of. So I have talked about E. coli on here before, all the benefits of it, how it is very important in research and in gut microbiology, but it is still pathogenic occasionally. It's still a bacteria. It can still cause problems if in the wrong strain, in the wrong person. So as I just mentioned previously, E. coli is a normal part of the gut microbiome. Everybody has it. Normally it's not a problem, and it actually does have some benefits. So there are certain cases, though, certain strains, that produce something called Shiga Toxin. So normally if you ingest a bit of E. coli, you're fine you won't have symptoms most of the time. However, there are cases when you can get a pathogenic strain and have some food poisoning symptoms, but in severe cases, you can get the E. coli that produces the Shiga toxin that you could be vulnerable to, which is a problem. So, say you've got some produce, some lettuce. You're feeling lazy, so you don't wash your lettuce. Then you eat it in a nice little Caesar salad, and then you start feeling like shit. Wash your produce, kids. You've just ingested some E. coli, and unfortunately for you, this is the E. coli that does the Shiga toxin. You're in for a bad time. So first off, you just start feeling really bad. You've got really, really bad stomach cramps, and you have to shit very badly. But unfortunately for you, one of the symptoms of Shiga toxin poisoning is bloody diarrhea. So the Shiga toxin itself is a type of endotoxin, which is basically just a protein found and secreted by certain bacteria. Now, what the Shiga toxin does when inside a host, this case being you because you didn't wash your lettuce, it can do some things. So those things include binding to the cell membrane of your cells. So there's quite a few different steps that I'm not going into, but basically what it does is it stops protein synthesis, specifically in blood vessels. And if you know anything about biology and stuff, you know that you kind of need protein. Proteins do pretty much every function in the body. Like, everything that is happening in your body right now is basically just due to proteins. But what specifically is happening in the case of Shiga toxin is it is messing with the membranes of your blood vessels, eventually causing them to break down and burst, otherwise known as hemorrhaging. And since this is a gastrointestinal pathogen, my god, it is happening in your gut areas. So when the blood vessels in your gut burst, mostly the capillaries, mostly the little ones. You don't have to be super worried. Like, it's not your arteries aren't gonna burst or anything, it's just the little ones. But then all of the blood seeps into your digestive tract and comes out as the bloody diarrhea. Now, you can imagine that this is not a very fun experience. However, most of the time it will not kill you. However, there are cases, especially in immunocompromised people, elderly people, and children, where it can be a problem. So there have been cases of deaths caused by E. coli producing the Shiga toxin. So if you have this, or think you had this, you do need to stay hydrated. That is very important because diarrhea causes a bunch of water loss. Same mechanism as, but similar to cholera, which I talked about before. So you do really need to make sure that you stay hydrated. Also, if you are losing quite a lot of blood in diarrhea, most of the time it is not significant, but if you're feeling like super dizzy, just maybe keep an eye on your iron levels. And yeah, there's no really specific treatment for this other than, well, rest up because these aren't going to be fun for a while. So remember, cook your meat, wash your lettuce.